All right, guys, welcome to the Red Six Hangar. Today we have a very special, not guest, latest member of the Red Six team, Lieutenant General Tom Guns Bergeson. Welcome to Red Six, Tom.
Thanks, Stan. Quick background on me, fighter pilot background, flying the F-15, and then the F-22, got to fly some Raptor time with you, Dan.
Yeah.
And then I closed out my flying career in the mighty A-10 Warthog.
Wait, I got to ask you, which is your favorite, F-15 or F-22?
Well, you know, the Eagle is kind of my first love.
Yeah.
You know, it's the one that I went to combat in, and so, yeah, I think, you know, the Eagle's got a special place in my heart. Right. But, you know, the Raptor was amazing, as you know. It was just an incredible weapon system. And then, you know, I got a chance to fly the A-10, which is just a great community and a great airplane.
Awesome culture as well, right?
Yeah, great culture, yeah.
And you spend a ton of time in the joint environment as well, right?
I did.
How did that shape you as an overall warfighter and an Air Force officer?
It really changes your perspective. You know, you grew up as a young fighter pilot and you kind of think the world revolves around you. In many ways it does, right?
Yeah, of course, always.
But when you get to meet the members of the joint community, and really what America does better than anybody else is bringing together the firepower that all the different services provide.
Yeah.
And so get to see that in action, to meet the troopers on the ground, to meet the sailors, you know, and those that are working in space, it was just an incredible opportunity.
When you left the Air Force, you went and did something completely different, much like me.
Well, I had an amazing opportunity to transition with a company. It was a startup.
Yeah.
That was a unicorn startup, so it was on a really fast trajectory in New York City. And the excitement of working in a startup was something that really had a lot of passion for. And we had the great opportunity with this company to go public on the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah. That
was one of those, you know, once in a lifetime events to ring the bell on the New York Stock Exchange and help build, you know, a great company, an aviation company. And so it was just really something that I enjoyed. And I learned a ton from doing it.
And you had a massive role there, so you were the COO of the company, right?
Was.
So basically operationally running the business. Stepping away from leadership in the Air Force, right? And going into being a civilian and then leading people in that context where you don't have that command point of salute and you got to take people with you on a journey. What were the major differences? What did you learn from that?
Well, first thing I learned was some of the similarities, right? There's great people in public sector as well as in the military, right? And they all want to be led by somebody that's competent and gives them the tools they need to do their job, the authority, and that you know, kind of get out of the way. Let the good people rise to the top. And so that's really similar. You know, it's different. We didn't have an organizational structure per se. You know, very hierarchical.
You literally built the organizational structure.
You literally build the organizational structure. Yeah. So once you get comfortable with, you know, that, and people get comfortable with the idea that you can have a lane, you know, and that if you are given the right task and you can go execute, that actually you can get more done than trying to do everything. But in a startup, sometimes you got to do everything, right? And you know, that's okay too.
Yeah, you keep popping up in my life every 8 years or so.
Like or not.
Yeah, exactly. We can't shake each other off. And so we started having a conversation, and you started digging into what we were doing here at Red Six. Were you aware of Red Six prior to sort of reconnecting with me at all, or not?
I was. I had known Mobile for my entire career, and I knew that he had. Was really excited about the technology and had taken a position as a chairman, and so we had, as you said, we had stayed in touch. And I was really, you know, interested in getting back into the defense sector. You know, this is what my passion is, to try to improve combat capability of the United States, and if there's something that I can do, you know, outside of the military to support that, that's really where my heart lied. And so I came out here and I had the opportunity to meet you again, connect.
Here we go.
And then fly the tech. And I was blown away. I mean, I'd heard about it. I hadn't quite pressed the I believe button until I strapped it on.
Right.
And I saw it.
What was it about the tech? What do you see here at Red Six that we're building? Why do you think it's so important?
I think it's going to fundamentally change the way that, you know, our joint forces train. From the tactical level to the operational level, and even at the strategic level potentially, you know, and the approach you're taking is the right one, which is sort of a crawl, walk, run approach. You know, starting with training aircraft, basic visual maneuvering, but also gathering that data so that you can debrief in a 3D environment at a level that we've never been able to do before, right? And then as you scale that up, you know, from a small flight, pretty soon you can do an entire mission space, and you can create a synthetic, you know, world that they can operate in, that they can have effects on. And then from an Air Force command and control perspective, you know, and suddenly now you can see the real opportunity to do command level training. And really that's what excited me about this. As great as it will be initially with the initial training, the opportunity is huge for training the joint force.
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it? Because I think people who are just learning about the technology get focused on the within visual range maneuvering piece, which I think we both agree is still really important.
Absolutely.
And it's essential we train to it. But the much bigger picture is the LVC construct, or call it synthetic training outdoors. I think there's two things that run into that. A, there's a massive demand signal for training, which we've never been able to fulfill. Right. And there's a chronic undersupply. I believe, and I've always believed, that the only way we're going to solve this is through synthetic training. And if you accept that we still need to and have to fly airplanes, what we identified was a gap sitting between real fly and simulation that no one was thinking about is that can we drag simulation outdoors? Can you talk to me about how important you think that is?
So it's impossible to exactly replicate, the threat.
Yeah.
Right. As much as we try using our own aircraft that we play as red air, or bring another aircraft to simulate red air, you're never going to get the exact thing, right? But actually, in the synthetic environment, you might be able to get even closer than having other airplanes play that role, and that's just really incredible. When you connect the whole live virtual constructive ecosystem, with using artificial intelligence to derive the behavior of your enemy aircraft, you can create, something that is as close to combat as you can get.
Right. Talk to me about how you see advanced, big tactical level ME type red flags. What does that look like in the future with this tech as it matures?
Yeah. So I think what you build is a synthetic environment. In your pre-mission planning, maybe you have a white force that does that. And imagine that you have, Nellis, an airspace that we've known and loved, and you go up for a red flag, right? And imagine the white force generates an enemy air defense layout, an IAD system that's there, and a whole opposing red air force that's up there. And also you have then friendly ground maneuver units. You have air defense artillery units that are all synthetic in this ecosystem. And then you have the 100 live airplanes on the Blue Air side that are flying.
But everyone's flying Blue Air, right?
But everybody's flying Blue Air.
Everyone's flying Blue Air.
And perhaps you take off and you go to a synthetic tanker.
Yeah.
And everybody gets a chance to refuel, before the push. And then you execute, and you see as you're executing real surface air missiles coming at you,
Which we've never, for the lay people out there, we've never been able to train to that.
Never been able to do that, right? So you'll get this radar warning indication, and now you look down and actually see it, and you have to maneuver to defeat it. When you shoot your missiles, you actually see them fly out. Instead of just calling the shot on the radio,
it's awesome,
you see it go. When they're coming back at you, you see them. So it just creates the realism that will come with this kind of training is going to be second to none.
So you've joined the company as the President and COO, which basically means I can retire now, right? That's the game plan. But we're going to be working really closely. Tell me what excites you particularly about that job. Like, why did you come here? What is it about the company that you love, that you saw beyond the tech? What is it that really excites you?
Culture, right? Yeah. And my job as a leader, as I was in the military, as it is now with Red 6, is to empower the team, right? To help them get the resources, the prioritization that they need to go do their job and execute. That's what it's all about. I firmly believe in being a servant leader.
Yep.
So I'm here for them and they're not here for me.
Right.
Right. And so anything I can do to lift them up and make the company better, that's what I feel my job is.
What do you think about the culture of Red 6? What is it that attracted you to this place?
It feels like I'm walking home. It feels like I'm back in a fighter squadron. And by that I mean there's this sort of bond that connects everybody that does dangerous things together. Yeah. But here it's not just all just dangerous things, but it's focused on a mission with a purpose to improve the combat capability of the United States, right? And you can sense that teamwork. Right. And that's just infectious.
It's not just fighter pilots, right? We've got software engineers, hardware engineers that have come from the most diverse backgrounds, a bunch of MBAs, lawyers, all that kind of stuff. What really constantly amazes me is just how they're all pulling together and they massively care about this mission. And that to me is infectious in the company.
I couldn't agree more. Just in the limited time I've been here, meeting your engineers, your software specialists, there are some brilliant, driven people that are rallying around your vision and your mission, Dan, and you can just sense that when they come to work every day, they're excited to do it.